Hey, what's going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with another video. Today I thought I would just show off an update to my Vanquish Soul list. Obviously a rogue to lower kind of tier deck right now, but it is still just kind of like a fun deck to play, so I thought I'd show off what I think is like the most viable version currently. So kind of quickly that way, just could go through that. Starting off here with the main deck, you still are maxing out on 3 Raisin. Say this is the card that you want to see the most. It's just kind of like your starter. It does everything that you need it to do. You do run, I think, 2 Mad Love. I think I have some people cut it down to 1. I still think 2 is really good. Obviously it searches you, like, stake your soul, and it kind of just lets you get into, Raisin through a few other means. So I do like Mad Love it too. The 2 Heavy Borger. I don't think that's really changed all that much. I think 2 is still definitely the optimal ratio. Definitely something that you're able to kind of go into. And same thing with Caesar. 2 of those just kind of make it a little more consistent. Sometimes you draw it, sometimes you're able to kind of search it. And then finally, 2 Jiaolong. Definitely have to run 2 of these. You're trying to obviously get a lot of fires in hand to be able to activate its effect. So the more you can see it, definitely the better. And then just the 1 Pantera doesn't usually come up, but sometimes, it can work as an Earth if you need it for the Caesar. Usually what you want to see for your Earth, though, is Fenrir and Riceheart. Obviously, these here are just kind of help you fix your attributes depending on like what you need. From there, we do have the 3 Stake Your Soul, the 1 Dust Devil, 1 Continue, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Durandal, and then the 1 Snow Devil. Obviously, Snow Devil is one of the things you can surf off of the Jiaolong, and then the Rhoda and the Durandal are there just to be a few more copies of Raisin there for you. From there, you can just really kind of pack it out with like consistency and hand traps. So you are running 3-Dimensional Shifter. It's really obviously a great card in this deck. It does hurt some decks. Not as many decks currently in the format. A lot of like the top decks are running Shifter themselves. But, it's still good enough to run. It still counts as a dark attribute. Ash is obviously just generically good against most things. It being a fire attribute as well really works really well in this deck. Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell does have some pretty good application in this format as well. Plus it is an Earth, so, again, just kind of another thing that works fairly well with some attributes in this deck. So, obviously depending on your hand, that is definitely something you have access to. The 2 Ghost Ogre. This is the only, hand trap, aside from the 3 Imperm. And then we have the 3 Prosperity. But Ghost Ogre is really the only hand trap that you're running that doesn't have, like, attribute, like, synergy with the deck, but it's generically good enough, I think, in this format. It hits plenty of really good cards. It stops, like, the Tempai from bringing it back. And you're just able to kind of just destroy whatever's on the field there. So obviously it depends on like what they have up, if they have the field spell or not. But I do like Ghost Ogre against a lot of like cards this format, especially like Voiceless Voice. They're face up continuous spell traps. So I do think it's still pretty good to run it too. You could definitely maybe put something else in. I don't think DD Crow is great this format, which I know is another card that this deck can use that does work as like a dark attribute, but I just don't think it works very well for the deck currently, or in the format, I guess, currently. But yeah, that is the main deck. Let me just go ahead and hop on and show the extra deck. Alright, and then just kind of quickly going over the extra deck here. We do have quite a few rank 4s for this deck. Abyss Dweller, Exciton Knight, Baguska. These are, I think, all just really great depending on the situation. Definitely something you can kind of go into to just kind of help against any kind of deck that you maybe come across. Dugaras. This, really just kind of depends. I don't think the draw is the one that's going to be coming up too much. Maybe you can use it to get rid of 2 to bring back a Raisin if you need access to it, though Usually the Link one kind of gets you that. So primarily I think it's just really great for, doubling your attack. So just being able to bring this out, double Caesars to 6k, that's going to hit over pretty much everything that you can kind of come across. I don't think there are going to be too many things that you're going to see that are going to be a higher attack than that. So that definitely, I think, is kind of its primary function, is just to be able to, if you need to clear over a big monster that you can't get rid of otherwise, I think this is a pretty decent card to run, because it also just has just a few other things you can use it for. The draw 2, discard 1, maybe could be useful, but this deck has a pretty good way of, drawing anyway. You do have a little Zeus package, Chalk and Iron Borbo into Zeus, so obviously this right here is just a way for you to get a, pretty big Zeus to be able to kind of go into, if you do go second. I like it. You also have Sky Crisis, again, another just thing for dealing with any, particularly like obviously over 3k monsters, so definitely like that one as well. Plays really well into like Zeus as well. So 3 Rock the Vanquisher. Primary thing you're going into, obviously, with like Raisin, this lets you, summon on your opponent's turn, so definitely something that you are going to be having an in board, so you definitely want to max out at 3, I think. That's pretty standard for the deck. Security Dragon, it's fun. You can link 2 into it to bounce 1. Maybe switch it out for something else. I think a lot of people are playing around, the zones underneath the extra monster zone, just because of like Anima has become the new Link 1 to play in like Snake Eyes. So probably would change that out for something else, but for now it can still work. Hita, do have like a few fire monsters you can grab, just kind of link up. Same thing with Dark. And then finally, Underworld Goddess, just another way for you to generically get rid of, a towers. So that is the extra deck. Obviously, just quite a few like different like kind of flex spots depending on like what your locals and everything like that looks like. But yeah, overall, I mean, the deck's fun. It's obviously not the most competitive right now. It needs a lot, or the format needs to be scaled back a lot in power for this to really be, a super impactful deck. A really good pilot with it, I think, can still do really well, but I just don't think that it's near the power level that it needs to be to kind of compete. But yeah, let me know down below what y'all think, and I will see y'all next time.